my people, what's up? It's your boy Marlin Center. You know how we do it. We always keep the fun live and direct, man. So right now it's all about Navio, man. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm good, man. Catching a vibe, catching a vibe.
Today it's all about the Navio X project. Can you share the concept and title behind the Navio X project?
So the Navio X project, because it was so hard to define,
Yeah,
that's where the X comes from.
yeah,
But it was an album that's structured around us wanting to do something that captured culture
yeah.
in a bigger way. I've seen the power of culture personally.
Mm,
When I travel around, I've seen what an Injogereza does. I've seen what a Nawuriranga or a, Baximba does. I've toured around. My first tour, well, actually, second tour around Africa
yeah,
was with Percussion Discussion, which is headed up by Afrigo's percussionist, Sewanyana,
yeah,
Herman Sewanyana. She called him Doctor. And we traveled all the way around Africa performing at hip hop shows,
yeah,
reggae shows. It really was just a perfect blend. So I've seen the power of it around Africa.
yeah,
And I realized that on my 10th album, I'm going to be a little bit selfish, but also be a little bit open-minded to starting a new wave. I can afford to take risks for the rest of the industry.
yeah.
I want us to try and discover a new sound that's based on culture, and that is the way to do it. I believe that projects like Navio X is the way to show people, hey, there's a sound that we haven't tapped into,
Yeah.
and we need to start looking into it now.
So I think it's really good the way you using your album to pass messages and themes
Yeah,
from different cultures in Uganda
yeah,
is something really good. Most people don't really want to spread that culture and find out what's in deep there in Uganda.
yeah. I mean, and a hit maker can be a hit maker, but I have over 40 number one songs,
Yeah,
hits. Um, so I have to say that I'm not saying necessarily do what I'm doing.
mm,
You continue making your hits, but eventually after the 40th song that's called Shake Shake,
yeah,
or Badi Badi, or Shake Your Body, or
yeah,
Body Shake,
mm,
or Shake Your, e- eventually an artist is going to be like, what's next? What legacy am I leaving
yeah.
apart from Shaky Shaky?
Apart from the shaky music.
You know, and for me, the legacy is about empowering, educating,
Yeah,
and getting to that next important topic of conversation,
yeah,
which is for me is about culture and re-empowering ourselves after colonials.
yeah.
After colonialism, it's now about re-empowering ourselves and realizing that we are the ish.
Mm,
Our culture is what makes us dope. We're affecting fashion. Beyonce, the biggest artist in the world, just dropped an Afrobeat album.
yeah.
The From song one to the last song
It's Afro.
was Afrobeat, and now she's moved on to country. It shows us that it's significant. It shows us that the sound can carry.
Yeah,
But now we just have to believe it ourselves and look at what is the East African, what's the Ugandan sound,
yeah.
what sounds do we have around here that we could maybe use to do that. So that's what I hope for the next generation. So that, as well as my book, as well as the music education program we're setting up,
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking about, man. It's future moves.
Adding to that, you say you used your father's picture on the cover art. Uh, what emotions are attached to this project?
I mean, culture was so huge to him. He was one of the Kawaka's men.
Mm.
What's the word for it? Soon. Yeah, what's the word for it? One the Kawaka's men. The group. But trees. Those ones. Then the tighter group. But trees is something. Yeah, something like that. So anyway, my dad was one of the Kawaka's men. We'll
Yeah.
say it in English. Um, so I knew culture was very important to him.
Mm.
That's all he talked about. By the time he had passed away, I was still speaking fluent Uganda.
Yeah.
You know, and it impacted me going out of the country for 6 years for education. Came back for 6 months, went away again for A level and uni, and came back and I could barely speak my own language.
Yeah.
That really affected me, and I wanted to learn so much about my language. I'm like, all right, whether or not I speak it, I have a talent also for rapping in English
Mm.
that everyone appreciates.
Mm.
So I have to do what makes sense for me financially, but what is it? What can I at least learn about my own culture? So I learned a lot about, you know, the Wagandan culture, and then I was like, there's a whole other world as well. What happens out west? What happens in the north, south, east? You know, and how do I capture this and make people realize that, yo,